Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, guys. It's really nice to be part of this family once again. So I'm Precious Kolawole. I'm a current dev degree intern at Shopify, and I know most times people get to ask me what's dev degree. So it's a place where you get to study computer science at a Canadian or United States university, and then you work simultaneously with Shopify as a software engineer. So I currently do that, and at the same time, I'm a data scientist and also a machine learning engineer. And I'm currently a training when it comes to Google Developer Expert Program, and I am a Google Generation Scholarship recipient, Palantir Scholarship recipient, Cadence Diversity in Tech recipient, and Grace Hopper Scholarship recipient. So yeah, that's pretty much about me. I currently live in Canada right now, and I'm at the office. So yeah, let's get started. I look forward to like sharing a little bit of my knowledge and also getting to learn from the other speakers. So I'm going to popcorn it to Margaret right now.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invite. My name is Margaret Ebuchulam. I pivoted from being a community manager and currently I'm an operations manager at Talent Pool, where we connect African talent, non-technical talent, yes, senior and mid-level to global companies in the US and in Europe. And what I do at Talent Pool is I do client management, I do talent management, and I also set up processes and systems to ensure that the business runs smoothly day to day, while the co-founders can actively go out and hunt for sponsorships, for funds, and clients. Yeah, so that's what I do. And I hope that at the end of this event, that you'll be able to gain insight and knowledge on how to go out there and grab global opportunities beyond your comfort zone. Thank you, everyone.
I think I'll be going next. Hello, everyone. I'm Precious Johnson from Nigeria. I'm currently a final year student at the African Leadership University in Kigali, Rwanda. I'm working on my capstone project while freelancing as a product designer. Previously, I moved to Kigali in 2022. So when I came here, I worked as a product designer with a startup called Internbox before getting a role at the Bank of Kigali as a product designer. And from there, I had quit my role and decided to focus on working on freelance projects while trying to complete my education year. I'm excited to be part of the people speaking at this event. I have benefited one. I think while I was still in Nigeria, I was part of the Shikut Africa community and had benefited from this community. And it's exciting to also be giving back. I'm looking forward to sharing my knowledge and learning from the speakers as well. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Omotala, for the help. Really do appreciate. My system is up now, but I'm still having issue with turning on my video. I don't know, but we're just going to move on regardless. And thank you to our amazing speakers for introducing themselves. Those were like amazing, amazing profiles there. So just before we delve into it. Again, this is a panel, and we'll just be pretty much be asking questions, to our speakers. And I had asked us earlier if we have questions specifically that you want to ask them, you can share on Slack or right here on the call, and we're going to get to it. But first of all, this is an event powered by Shikod Africa community. And the goal for this event for us is to, first of all, equip you with knowledge and actionable steps to like identify potential opportunities around you. There are a lot of opportunities, but they say information is key, right? It's really, really vital. And you can't have access to information if you don't have access to the right people, right? Sometimes. Except you want to go digging, on your own, which is really cool. But yeah, our speakers today, many of them has landed amazing opportunities, and they're just going to be sharing with you their experience and their journey. Then also the second goal for us is to break down the application and interview process for global position. So some of these global opportunities, personally have seen that you might need to like jump on interviews, you might need to write essays. Some of these can be really daunting and discouraging, right? But people do it regardless. So how can you like do the same for yourself and land yourself an amazing opportunity? Then pretty much just to motivate you to start exploring and pursuing both international and local opportunities around you, right? So it's either international or local. They are all opportunities, and if it's going to help propel your career, then you should definitely go for it. And again, we have Precious Kola Wale, Margaret Ibuchila, and Precious Johnson here on the call as our speakers today. So I think my video is on. So I'm finally going to. Okay, can we all see me? Guess we can now. All right, cool. If you want to turn on your video, that's totally fine and up to you. That's totally awesome. So I think I would like to start first with asking our speakers to share how their journey into tech has been, like how they got into tech and what that journey has been so far for them, just briefly. And I will start with Precious Johnson. Hi, Precious.
Hi everyone. Okay, so I started my journey in tech in late 2018. I had just graduated from high school and I was thinking about what to do then. So at first I started baking because I couldn't like my family couldn't afford to send me to university. So I was just like looking for ways to raise money so I could go to the University of Calabar. I had gotten an admission there. So I started baking, and then I came across an opportunity for young people within Calabar to learn digital skills, and it was paid. But I applied for it, and I reached out to one organization. It's called FHI 360. So they gave me a scholarship, and I got the opportunity to attend the digital summer program. And during the program, I had learned a lot of skills around design, programming, content creation, and stuff like that. And after the program, I pitched my idea and I won my first laptop. So that was how I got my first laptop. And I wanted to still develop my skills in tech. So I started going because the program team, they had an office in the place they had organized the event. So I started going there like almost every day so I could use that electricity and internet to learn how to code. And then later on, I joined the Technovision Girls competition, and I worked on an app idea to help high school graduates get easy access to opportunities. And in the process of that, I needed a designer on my team, and I didn't know anybody to like reach out to. And some people were like going to ask for money as well. And it's very hard to like find young women in tech. And that was 2018. So there were like really few women in tech within my community then. So I had to learn design myself. I took some courses on YouTube, and that was 2020. So I got into product design. And then later on, I took some courses on Coursera, and after that, I started like applying for like I got admission to school board. Yeah, I started school board. Um, the environment where I was, I didn't like it, and then I wanted something more. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to be in an environment where like the students are inspiring me while like we're inspiring each other, and also the course I wanted to study. So I started applying to some schools outside Nigeria, and I got a lot of rejections, but lucky for me, I got accepted into the African Leadership University, where I decided to study business strategy and investment. And during that time, I was taking the computer science degree course on Outscore Africa as well. So I started my journey at ALU. I was still working as a product designer. I was still like focusing on design while taking the computer science course with Outscore Africa. And then from ALU, I got the opportunity to like work with different individuals and companies as well, here in Rwanda as well. And from earlier as well, I had last year I had the opportunity to visit Silicon Valley. Back home in Calabar, I had this nickname, the Silicon Valley girl, because I was always like we're doing my pitch and presentations. I was always saying I want to visit Silicon Valley, and my school made that dream come true. I had the opportunity to visit Silicon Valley last year, and I we got to visit different tech companies like Google, Netflix, Amazon, and so on. And during that time, I made sure I network with some of their staff there. And my journey so far has just been around design as well. And I'm looking forward to also doing a master's degree in design as well. And I think, yeah, that's just been it for now. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing, amazing story. Like, I love all the details you had highlighted there. Thank you so much, Precious, for sharing. So, I'm just going to go over to Precious Kolawole. Please, share with us briefly how you got into tech and how that has been for you so far.
Okay, awesome. Um, so sorry, I'm a little bit sick, so my voice may not come out the way I want it to. But anyways, I hope I'll be able
But
to do
that's
my best.
fine.
Awesome.
Get well
Um,
soon.
okay, so I'm going to start by saying when I finished high school in 2017, all I wanted to do was become a medical doctor. Back then I read about Dr. Stephen Odaibo and not Dr. Stephen Odaibo, Ben Kazin rather, this Ben Kazin guy. And his book. I read a particular book and I wanted to become a medical doctor. However, after finishing high school, I remember being at home for like 3 years trying to make money to sponsor myself to the university. During this period, I did not know anything about tech. So I had like three differences girls job. Aha. And 2020, I think 2019, late 2019, my brother is a computer science student. He was a computer science student back then at Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. So he went to this conference with Data Science Nigeria. And during this time, he was able to meet Dr. Stephen Odaibo. And this man is like an ophthalmologist and AI engineer. And this guy talked about how people can intersect medicine with technology. So during this talk, my brother actually knew I wanted to become a medical doctor. So he came home and then he told me about it. And one thing that is kind of like different in my case is like when I hear information, I grab it and I make use of those opportunities, those information. So when I heard about Dr. Stephen Odaibo, I started making my research about it. I read about this man, and luckily for me, I entered Obafemi Awolowo University as a zoology student, not even medicine. I got in as a zoology student. I was very mad because I did not want to go for zoology, but I had to go for it anyways. And I think I was able to like change my course after 1 year. After like 2 weeks of gaining admission, I was able to change my course, but I'm not going to go into that details at all. So yeah, I got admission, and luckily for me, we started school. And 3 weeks into the program, COVID-19 started. That was 2020. So after COVID-19, during COVID-19, I went back to my daddy's house in Abeokuta, and then I was able to sit down with my brother. Then we wrote a roadmap. We were able to build a timeline for my learning. So back then, I started with Python programming, and I was not fortunate enough to have a laptop. So I was writing the code on my phone for like 6 or 8 months. Yeah, during this period, I learned Python, data analysis, all of those things. And I also got into the She Code Africa Cohort 2 program. And that time I was assigned a mentor, and this mentor taught me a lot of things about like and we're still like very much close up till now. So after the She Code Africa program, I used my phone throughout the She Code Africa program. And after the program, I wrote my final project, which also it included an article about whatever I worked on. I can't remember. So yeah, I worked on that, and I'm trying to navigate to something else. During this period, I was able to like find this particular organization. They were in Tanzania. They were trying to solve the problem of low doctors to patient ratio. And I saw this opportunity. I applied for it, and I was able to build like a machine learning algorithm that can like detect cancer in women. So I worked on this and I was paid. That was like my first tech money. I got this money. I was very happy. And during this period also, I landed, okay, from the She Code Africa article I wrote for my final project, one CEO in a Nigeria tech company, it's like a lending as a service firm. And this man has been trying to solve the problem of people taking loan and taking their money away, right? He wanted to solve this problem. So he saw my She Code Africa article on like loan default prediction. Now I remember. So he saw this article and then he reached out to me on LinkedIn. I initially thought it was a scam. However, I worked with the man and we worked on the project together. I achieved about 90% accuracy. Funniest thing, this particular man has actually hired people all the way from China to solve this problem. And I picked it up. I solved the problem in like 3 weeks, 90% accuracy, and he paid me. After that, he extended an offer, like an internship offer for me to just upgrade the model over time. And I worked as an intern at this company for like I think 9 months roughly. Yes, 9 months. At this time, I went back to school. COVID-19 ended. So I was now like a medical rehabilitation student. I was studying physiotherapy. During my internship period, it was very crazy, honestly, because being a medical student, dealing with cadaver and all of those bones in the lab and having to like build machine learning models, it was not easy. But I remember this time my all this feeling I want to go abroad started setting in. I remember speaking with my class rep back then, and he told me about like how people can get opportunities abroad and stuff. I was like, okay, I would like to know about more about this then. At that time, I did not have any, what is it called? I did not even have an NIN. I did not have international passport. But I picked all of these things up and I started working on them. Uh During this period, somebody reached out to me from Google. They said they needed somebody to work to become a machine learning engineer in Google Africa. This time when I saw this opportunity, I left my full-time role, my internship. I left the internship because I needed to prep for data structures and algorithm. I did not know data structures. The last time I learned mathematics was like 5 years back. So I needed to learn data structures. So I left my job, started prepping for Google. It was a very crazy period. And then at this time, Google rejected me in short. I did not get into Google. And I remember starting Microsoft application also. Microsoft did not also work out. I did a lot of companies. Gosh, they all did not work out. But anyways, during this period, I started also like looking for opportunities. I was actually tired of medicine. Like I'm not really tired of medicine. I was tired of the Nigeria education system. So yeah, I saw this Shopify opportunity. Then I applied for this stuff. Shopify, it was from a senior colleague actually. So I applied for it. I got into the program, and now I'm here in Canada studying computer science. And the after goal is like seeing myself doing PhD to combine artificial intelligence with medicine. Yeah, I used to tell people I'll be going to med school after this, but I'm not going to med school anymore. It's a longer route and I'm not ready for that. PhD is better. So yeah, and in this period, I try to just speak at conferences, try to mentor people. What else? And I've benefited from many scholarships, like a lot of them, like a lot of scholarships. So and I use them to just like, yeah, somebody needs money, money is what we can use to keep sustaining ourselves. So yeah, I just get a lot of scholarships and yeah, I'm living fine. I study computer science right now and I work at Shopify full time. Okay, that's it. I'm going to popcorn into the next speaker so I don't take the entire time.
That was super detailed. Thank you, Precious, for sharing and all the hurdles that you had to like overcome. Wow, super inspiring, and we really appreciate you sharing that journey. Hi, Margaret. You're up next. How you doing?
I'm good. Since the first two speakers are both,
Awesome.
let's say, they are more in the tech space, I would like to know if there are other non-technical folks here. Yes, I'm here for you. Okay, so I wanted to be a medical doctor too, but then jam jammed me, and I saw myself in my second option. Then there used to be second option. Yeah, you have your first option, university, yes, and second option, university. Like it was a very crazy time to be applying for universities during JAM. So I got into Futo to study biomedical technology. And while I was studying, I just knew that at the end of the 5 years, I will not be using this certificate to do anything. That was a great sense of awareness. However, I wanted more, but I just didn't know exactly what I wanted. But I just knew that whatever it is that they were teaching us was not for me. I'm not a tools person. So I tried to find various ways that I could grow and gain more knowledge. So I joined an organization in school called Inactus. Inactus is a global organization that teaches university students entrepreneurial knowledge. So while we're in school, we build businesses, we're trying to solve social problems. So it was there that I would say I began my foray into the startup world as well as the tech space. So it was there that I learned about how to brainstorm. That was my first time hearing about the word brainstorm. How to solve social problems, how to build non-profit and for-profit businesses, and how to constantly look beyond the problems within the society and also how to solve them. So while I was in Enactus, I started my content creation journey. Then I was a social media manager for a while before I graduated. And then when I graduated from uni, I was depressed for a while because I just felt like I didn't know what I was going to do with this time that I had on my hands. So what I did was I was invited to a graduation. I was invited to a graduation for a tech training that just happened in Abia State. And he was like, oh, this first cohort is graduating. It was an event sponsored by PIND. And I went there and I did not go back home for a year. So from the graduation, I saw myself enrolling in the second cohort of the tech program. There I studied digital marketing. So one thing about me is I'm I'm all for trying new things, but I'm also open to being honest about what my strengths and weaknesses are. So it was while I was taking that course that I found out that digital marketing is not for me, but I would love something else. So I stuck with social media management for a while. Then I had to go and serve my country. And while serving my country, in the third month of serving my country, COVID happened. Yes. Then a friend remembered that I'm an extrovert and I love meeting people. He recommended me for a job as a community manager. So that was how I became a community manager in 2020. And that I'll say is the genesis of my activeness in the community space, because that opened me up to number one, seeing how best to nudge people in the right way and how to adopt product. Like community management was such a great way into the non-technical space. And then last year, I pivoted from community management to operations management. And when I'm not doing any of this, I constantly like to seek for knowledge and also like to practice whatever it is that I'm learning. So right now I have my own community for where I can test my ideas and test my skills. And yeah, so that's been my story and my journey to the tech world.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for sharing. Backstory, you all. I and Margaret happen to be to be friends, and we're also a part of this community for community builders. So we just need to encourage ourselves. And Margaret is so so amazing. Thank you, Margaret, for sharing. So I'm sorry. My baby. Okay, cool. So we're just going to go right into the question and answer now. right? And so this is how we're just going to do it. We're going to ask each speaker questions, and they're just going to share their thoughts on that. So the first question I have here, and I would like to ask this to Precious Kolawole. So with your journey, how you got into tech, and I don't know if you had mentioned initially, but I would like to know how, like, what opportunity, what was the real deal for you? Was it to was it you, or was it Precious Johnson that mentioned, the Japa spirit? Was that the reason, or just to make extra money, or just to explore? What was the main thing that initially sparked your interest in looking out for international opportunities?
Okay, thank you so much. I am not from a rich family, but my motivation has never been to make money. Though I wanna grow up and become so damn rich. But my motivation has never been money because I see myself getting the knowledge and the skills first before money can come in. So I intentionally decided to pursue international opportunities just because, one, I was tired of the Nigerian system and I wanted more. I am this type of person. If I achieve something, I always look out for the next thing. Then some I've spoken with people in different places, and some of people will tell you they are actually okay with just like achieving something, take a break, rest before pursuing the next thing. That has never been my case. I am so energetic, and it can be very insane sometimes. So when I get one thing, I go for the next one. I go for the next one. So when I was studying medical rehabilitation, I realized I was already preparing for post graduation. Okay, after I finish school, do I see myself finishing this medical rehabilitation degree and then now going for like a PhD or like a master's? Those things were not making sense to me. And I also realized that as a machine learning engineer, there are some places where you won't be able to sit, when you won't be able to talk if you don't have some specific degrees. And computer science degree is like, it actually stood out to me back then because as a machine learning engineer, they expect you to have like computer science, statistics, PhD, and all of those things. So I realized, okay, let me form another trajectory for myself. And then when I sat down, I created a roadmap and it was given, okay, do computer science first, then you can now start looking at post-graduation or whatever thing you want to explore after. I feel like that was the deal breaker for me particularly. And I was just hungry for more because sometimes where you are does not define who you are supposed to be. So yeah, I'm going to keep that short.
Yeah, I really caught that where you are is not supposed to define, where you have to be, right? And that's really, really powerful statement right there. Thank you, Precious, for that. And yeah, for some people, money could be the motivation. To be honest, I wouldn't say, oh, money can should not be your motivation. But yeah, if you're more invested into, just making social impact and all, that's totally fine as well. Right. So I'm going to move on to the next question. And so yeah, and this question would be for Margaret. With your experience having to manage business, what you studied, can you share some misconception or challenges people would face when seeking, opportunities, right, outside of their comfort zone?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. So one misconception is that you need to be fluent in English to be able to learn certain roles. Now, I'm not saying that you should not speak good English. No, I'm just saying that that should not hinder you from trying certain opportunities. Why? In the global workspace, is your skill that is needed, and there are certain tools that can help make communication easier. You have Google Translate and all that. However, if you're very certain that you've got the skills that a company is actually looking for, that should be your selling point rather than your lack of proficiency in English as being your weakness. You can actually work on your English, but if you don't have the skill sets, you would not be able to apply for certain kinds of roles. And as someone who regularly recruits on behalf of my company, when you meet a role 100%, it means you're overqualified. So I know that many times we like to say, oh, but it's 60, 70, 80. So if you've got what they want, 60, 70, 80, I recommend that you definitely go for that role and then give it your best shot. And then your strengths should cover your weaknesses, and you can work on your weaknesses in order to achieve the company's growth. So that's like that's one misconception. The other misconception is, I know many of us still believe that you have to either work from an office or you cannot fully practice remotely, or even though you see remote roles, you due to the way the market is currently, you might want to settle for what's less than what you're expecting. So I'm going to start with the first one. If you can get a job in a foreign country, I recommend you go for it. That's like one. Number two, if you can't get a role in a foreign company, but you get a role remotely, I also suggest that you go for it. And if it's your desire to japa or relocate, you can discuss with your company and they can work that out for you. And then finally, nothing is, even though we all want to work remotely and earn in hard currency, it's also important that we are real with ourselves sometimes. So what am I trying to say? It's okay to take on certain jobs within Africa, not settling, just take on certain jobs within Africa and use it to fund your Japa dreams or your travel dreams or your remote visa dreams. So that's what I'm just going to recommend. Remember that dreams do not pay bills. All of us have dreams, but dreams do not pay bills. So you have to work hard to financially sustain your dream. Yeah. So if your dream cannot be attained now, nothing stops you from working hard to attain it in the future. So these are some of the misconceptions that I would like us to clear up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so profound. I did kick network did kick me out, but I got quite a lot of what you said, right? And yes, like she said, it's okay to start where you are, right? And as time goes on, you can now have the resource to now fund the bigger things that you need to do, or fund the final, not really the final destination, but the destination where you desire to be at the time. Thank you so much, Margaret, for highlighting those misconceptions, right? So I'm going to move on to the next question, right? So I think I should also ask Margaret this question still, because based on our experience having to recruit in the tech space, right, and managing talents, with your skills, in your experience rather, what skills and qualities are most valued by employers, right, and maybe people looking to recruit workers, right, in their company, right? What skills and qualities do you think they value more when they're looking out for people to bring on to the team, right? And I think Precious John could also touch on that as well. But yeah, Margaret, you go first.
Okay, thank you for your question. So the very first thing they are looking at is your hard skills. What are you bringing to the company? Because for every role, you need to, at least, like I said, 60 to 80% tick the boxes that the company is looking for. Now, there's a saying in the recruitment space, your hard skills gets you the job, your soft skills allow you to keep the job. So even though you fit the boxes, if you're not a culture fit for the company, you are going to be a liability to the company. So most times when some of us apply for roles and you don't get in, it's not that you don't have the skills. It's just that there are other circumstances beyond your control that the recruiter or the company is looking at that might prevent them from hiring you. So some of the soft skills that I would like to share with us is learnability. You have to be someone who is willing to learn, relearn, and unlearn. You also have to be teachable. Why? The world is evolving, processes are changing every single day. New regulations are being created, businesses are pivoting, processes are pivoting, new tools are coming out every day. So subconsciously, if you are the kind of person who likes to say, this is what I was taught in school, or this is what I learned from my mentor, or this is what I learned online, it's going to be a huge bottleneck if you are applying for a job, because your line manager doesn't want to constantly argue with you when they're trying to either show you a different way of doing things. So one of the soft skills I'm going to encourage us to start practicing is being able to learn. And there are so many platforms for you to learn. You have Coursera, you have YouTube, you even have TikTok. Like, information is everywhere. So the more you train yourself to be able to learn, the more you make yourself a valuable asset aside the hard skills that you've got. The next one is resilience. Yeah, the times are brutal, but you need to present yourself as someone who is resilient. So say, for example, your company is pivoting. There are two things that actually happen when a company is pivoting. They either downsize or they let people off and hire people that sort of like fits into the future that they're trying to build. So you need to be able to withstand the tough times. And that's being able to not hold certain things to yourself. So say you worked on a product and the product is not going the way you expected it to go. That's not something you should hold on to. You should be able to like adapt as quick as possible, which is where the next soft skill comes in, agility. Because of the way times change, and we can see what happened during COVID, companies that were not agile, many of them shut down because they were not quick to adapt to the changing times. And now we can see a wave of change blowing over the hiring industry, which is the cross-border adoption of AI. Now, if you're someone that is not quick to spot these kinds of industry trends and are very comfortable within your comfort zone, or you're not agile and quick to start learning how to use certain AI tools, you're not going to be seen as someone who's going to add value within the company. Now, there are some people that is even some of the things that they look out for, ability to use AI tools, because they don't want to waste time. Time is very precious. So these are some of the things that you need to start learning on your own without anyone nudging or prodding you. Now, the next one is collaboration. Now, this is like, if I'm to even list, if I'm to rank the 5, this is like number 2. Why? You're going to be working with people to drive the company goals. And collaboration is even more needed when you're working remotely, except you're working from an office where someone can maybe look over your shoulder. But if you're working remotely, you need to learn the art of collaborating. And it's an important skill. If you have the hard skill, but you cannot collaborate, you are a huge blocker and bottleneck, and no one instead is going to want to work with you. And then finally, effective communication. But in this case, I'm still going to narrow it down, effective verbal communication. So many times we have the ideas in our heads and we do not know how to communicate it to our team members. So sometimes many people do not even know how to speak in a work setting. We speak as though we're speaking to like our younger ones. Hey, do this thing for me, grant this pull request. Or when you are asked to document a process, it's not something that someone can follow step by step to be able to achieve the intended process when you're not around. So if you would like to have an added advantage over someone applying for a role in this global workspace, because right now the competition is no longer locally, the competition is now global. You would need to learn how to adequately communicate, verbally, written, effectively. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's really profound. I picked being able to be like a learnable person, resilient, having that collaboration skills and communicating effectively. And I think this has to do more as regards to opportunities when it comes to work, the workforce, right? And Hi, Precious Johnson. If you can also touch, shed more light on, based on your experience having to like get international an opportunity to school outside of your country, right? What do you think people on the other end were looking out for, right? Based on how you were able to like position yourself, what do you think they saw in you that made them settle to give you the opportunity to school in their university, right? I mean, you also mentioned that you had applied to other places and they rejected you. So, what do you think you had done differently that they saw that they made them bring you on board to school with them? Still on the question, Margaret answered. Were you coming from like you know, how do I put it, a student side of things, or
Okay,
yeah,
so
school
okay,
side of things?
coming from a student or school side of things, for my application to ALU, I think it was the ability to tell my story and communicate my mission effectively. So, unlike other schools, that focus on like majors, so ALU focuses mainly on mission. So, before coming here, you have to like talk about like your mission, like what do you want to do with your life or wherever you are heading to. And I was able to communicate that effectively through video. So some people choose written applications, but I had to like do an entire video for that. So I talked about the things I've worked on in the past and what I am planning to work on in the future. And for companies, most companies are also looking out for diversity. So like what's your cultural currency? What are you bringing like differently from other applicants? So Margaret has already touched on the soft skills, and I also think the hard skills are important, which is like she also mentioned is the first most important thing. So that's what the company or the recruiter sees first, either on your resume or your portfolio. So what have you worked on? Some people have not like had the opportunity to like work with a company yet, but there are some internship project or open source project you can work on, or either a personal project you can work on to add to your portfolio or your resume. And even if you've not like done like you're not like studying what maybe you are doing computer science, maybe you're like coding, but you're not like studying computer science in university, taking online courses and adding those certifications to your resume helps as well. I've been applying for a lot of roles, and then most of these companies they put it as a requirement that you must be doing a computer science degree or a design related degree, stuff like that. So in cases where you don't have those degrees, your certifications could help. So yeah, I think it dwells on the things you've done personally or collaboratively. And I'm going to also touch on one of the challenges people face when finding international opportunities. Some companies hire within the EMEA region, that's Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And for people outside that region, they might not like consider the applications. So being able to also find roles within the EMEA region can help in streamlining your application process as well, and connecting with recruiters and presenting the idea of like being open to relocation and yeah, stuff like that. And also there are some for students specifically, there are some programs that can help you relocate to a particular country but for short term, and this is to help you like gain knowledge and also improve your skills when it comes to like working with a diverse group of people. And some of them are like the Libra group, and Precious can also touch more on the Shopify Dev Degree internship. And also you have the Outreachy internship for people interested in open source. So And yes, I'll come again to checking out companies that are hiring within the EMEA region. Thank you. Is the host still here?
Um, Hi, Precious. Sorry. Hi, Precious.
Hello. Yeah,
I
I can
think
hear you.
Mary Blessing is having internet issues. You can help to add some point to what the other Precious just gave mentioned now.
Okay. Am I good? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Um, to add more to what everyone has said, honestly, I would say everybody made justice to the point when it comes to like the most valued skills by employers. Since I'm in the aspect of like school versus work, I'm going to like add more to what Precious said about you telling your story. I'm going to tell you for sure that my ability to tell my story has actually placed me in many places I wouldn't have been right now. Being able to articulate properly, being able to tell people what is unique about you, and being able to sell yourself in different platforms, different places. For example, now this particular dev degree program, it's pretty much you. I don't like to talk about it. If you want to learn more about dev degree, please go to the website and read. Then you can now come back with questions. But I'm going to like give us a little bit of hint because it requires you to write like personal statements. And in the personal statements, they want to see your ability to study computer science, your ability to thrive in a work setting, your ability to handle failures if you've had failures in the past. They want to see your ability to multitask and how you can undo multiple roles at the same time. Because as a dev degree intern, you study and you work at the same time. So yeah, they want to see all of these things. And these people, they don't know you from anywhere. And you have to make them become aware of who you are as a person. And the only way you can do that, the only way you can cut the deal is by telling your story. They require you to write like 5 essays, each of them like 250 words. And in that 250 words, you must be able to convince these people. During my time, they received up to like 4,000 applications and they only selected about 40 something. Even now, they don't even select up to 40 anymore. The last section, the last cohort was just 25. So you must be able to like tell your story in that little thing. I remember when I started writing scholarship applications, like or scholarship essays and stuff. My mentor, the first essay I wrote, I sent it to my mentor, and she was like, "Precious, what did you write? What the heck? Please, this is not going to get you anything. It's not going to get you anywhere." She reviewed the essay. It was very brutal, but the brutality of that review actually made me realize the things I was missing that time and how I could make them become better. And in the process, now if you tell me to write any essay, bro, I'm gonna nail it, and that's it. So I would say be able to tell your story very, very well. Another thing I'm gonna mention is your ability to sell yourself on all these social media pages. Because when you apply for something, before this recruiter gets to know you, they are already on your profile looking at trying to get information to prep themselves for your upcoming interview or whatever. They want to see the person they are trying to bring into their company. Please, you must be able to have good profile. I don't say everyone has to be like a social media influencer or social media this, but the content you put on social media, be very intentional about it. Don't just post anyhow because you have a calling and there is something people are looking at when it comes to getting jobs remotely. So you must make sure the content you put on social media, they are sensible and it reflects the kind of person you are and the way you want to be seen. Another thing I'm going to add is it was coming to my mind earlier, being a constant learner. I know Margaret mentioned something about having this learning mentality. I don't I wanted to say I swear to God, but I'm not gonna swear on this call. But honestly, if you want to get global opportunities, you don't even need to solve problems in front of the interviewers before they know if you have a learning mentality. being like asking questions and asking genuine questions, being curious about the company you are trying to get into. They these recruiters, they connect those dots and they can easily decipher if you are the type of person who can learn. One of the Shopify mantra is thriving on change and being a constant learner. If you are not a constant learner, you cannot thrive in this kind of work setting, because we change technologies, we change tools, we change this, we change that, and you must be able to pick them up and learn those things and be able to replicate them. And your ability to make good decisions quickly. There's also this thing we call I can't remember all of those points, honestly, but I would say be a constant learner. Make sure you are always learning. I would even say, what are you doing in the tech space if you cannot learn? Like, it's just it's a field that is always changing, and you must be able to adapt, or else you are going to become useless, and there won't be any need for you anymore if you are not constantly improving yourself. And I will also say your ability to get shit done. That's what we call it here. Also, I don't know the fact that I'm relating with these people. I'm using all of these words, but we call it getting shit done. You must be able to get shit done. I've noticed some traces when it comes to Nigerian people, especially women. I'm sorry to say this. I kind of give the reflection of like being a man or something, but I'm not a man. I'm very soft. But at the same time, I've noticed some trends among women. Women, like, we need to we need to be more active, we need to be more agile, we need to be more outspoken, and we must be able to get work done, be able to get work done. I've been in some places where people will tell you they prefer to work with men compared to women because women don't deliver easily. You must be able to change those orientation about yourself and be able to stand out, because the fact that you are a woman does not mean you are another a version of a man. No, you are you, and you are unique. Your identity is different. So I would say be able to get shit done. If you get a task, get it done. If you get an assignment, get it done. And that's the way you can prove yourself in those global places. I'm going to stop there if the host is now back, because if you let me, I'm going to keep talking and talking without stopping. Oh, is she back? Probably Omotayo can take over.
Hi, Precious. Thank you. Sorry, I'm facilitating the chat.
Okay.
My lessons now, yeah. So I think the next question we have is how important are networking and building professional connection to securing international opportunities? You already touched some part of that, I think, yeah. This should go to Precious then, the other Precious.
Oh, Johnson. Okay.
Okay, on networking, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so on networking, I think that's one of the most important skill sets everyone should have, no matter the field you're in. My how I got to my role at the Bank of Kigali was networking with someone, connecting with someone I like admired on social media. So there's this guy who was in my school, he's a graduate. Um, he currently works at Meta, and I liked his journey. He's a product designer as well. I liked his journey and I found it inspiring, so I reached out to him, and then he came in Kigali and he told me he was here, and I got to meet with him in person, and he just told me about the opportunity at the Bank of Kigali. So for some companies, they don't really like put out their roles out there, so it's might be through someone you know about the opportunity. He told me about the role and I applied for it. I went for the interview, and luckily for me, I was able to like pass the interview stage, and also they gave me some design tasks to do, which I passed as well. And that was how I got the job, from knowing about it from someone. So I cannot like overemphasize the importance of networking, reaching out to people on LinkedIn or any other social media platform, even on hiring platforms. So there is this plugin called Apollo. It helps you like can help you like find contacts of recruiters on some job application platform. So you can use that to contact recruiters, like maybe getting their emails and emailing them some of them do reply. I've had the experience of people reaching out to recruiters, emailing them. Sometimes they don't like reply on LinkedIn, but sending them an email can help you get a faster response from them. So it's really important to network at events as well, and don't say you are like an introvert when you have like big dreams as well. So you have to go out there, you have to put yourself out there and meet people. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Networking is actually great and it's very important, especially if you want to build a professional connection. You are not, I'm facilitating the chat, and that was something like I just dropped. Like the importance of networking, especially when you intend to have like informal chats with people. And when you intend to network, right? I'm just adding to that tip. When you intend to network, you should prepare yourself, like you have something to tell the person about you. You just don't want to keep quiet because I've gotten a lot of opportunity by walking up to people and tell them, oh, this is what I do, this is what I love doing, this is what I've done in the past, the impact and stuff like that. Precious Kalawale, I'm going back to you. I can see Mary Blessing have a question for you. Can you share your top tip for crafting a compelling international job application?
Okay. Oh, okay. That came unexpected. For compelling, for compelling
International, yes.
international job application. Okay. I'm going to say, okay, something just came to my mind. I would say when it comes to crafting your job application, I would say don't be generic. Don't be generic at all because you, you want to be unique about your story. I think I touched based on this also a little bit. You want to be unique about your story. So don't be generic at all. There was a time I was trying to apply for something and I literally went online, uh, example essay for this so role. And I found like a very perfect template on Google. I could have actually just taken that, put it to suit my case and just submit something like that. I would say, no, please don't ever do that. When you are working on an application, please be intentional and see yourself already in that role. Not like be intentional in your application and don't be generic. And I'm also going to say something about like researching. Please properly research what you want to do. Thank you. Somebody mentioned or using ChatGPT. Please, I'm going to share a story concerning that. I write a lot of scholarship essays, and I'm going to tell you, I'm a master of my craft when it comes to writing scholarship essays. There was a time I delayed my essay, and I was trying to get it done at the last minute. I I had to like add some input to ChatGPT and I just pasted whatever ChatGPT gave me. And then I submitted it for the application with a little fixes here and there. Trust me, I was rejected 100% for something I could have gotten. So don't be generic at all. Be very specific. And I'm going to say every line, every word in your application must mean something to you personally. Because all these reviewers, they are actually looking at a bunch of applications. There should be something they will see when they read the first line of your application that will make them become more interested in you, in who you are as a person. So that's going to be the first thing. I would also say, one sec, I'm trying to put on my iPad. Okay, I will also say research thoroughly. You must know what you are applying for. Don't just feel like, okay, these people he's hiring, I want to drop my application. These people, they are also hiring, I want to drop my application. See this thing as the next big thing you want to do. Research about the company and know what they are looking for in the applicant. Every company or everything you are trying to apply for, they have their career page and they will, sometimes majority of them will tell you what we are looking for in our applicants. You can use that and tailor it to who you are and be able to sell yourself. One more thing I'm going to mention is in applications, there are optional sections. Like when you are applying for something, they will tell you, this is optional, this is optional. And I see most people, they will look at those optional stuff and they will just keep it since it's optional. Please don't skip them. They are important, honestly. To you, they are important. sometimes this is what those recruiters do. After let's say there is a clash between you and one person, they go back to those optional points and they use that in their judging criteria. So when you see something as optional, please try your best and just give them something. Especially when it comes to jobs, they will tell you cover letters are optional, or they will tell you most times resumes are not optional, but there is always something that is optional in those applications. Please don't skip them. They are very important. And I would also say when you are trying to apply for something, have like a mentor or a friend who can review whatever you worked on. Sometimes we feel like, oh, that job, I killed it. That application is perfect. Well, however, it's actually not perfect. So let somebody who is your friend or someone who has more knowledge about it, let them review this thing for you. And based on their review, you make changes, you update it before you make your final submission. I would say if you can also get a recommendation in that process, recommendations are just like, oh my gosh, especially when the person who is recommending you has like a very good profile, please and please try and get recommendations. And then it will just boost your profile more compared to every other applicant in the application pool. I feel like yeah, I would also say quantify your achievements. Uh, Sometimes when we especially you should know when I'm speaking right now, I'm speaking between writing when it comes to scholarships and also like writing for jobs. So I would say especially in your resume also, I've seen so many or like so many bad resumes, and I don't mean bad per se. They are just not, I will use this Gen Z word, they are just not giving. I'm so sorry. They are just not giving. So when you are working on your resume, be very intentional. You have each section. If you don't know much about writing resumes, there are blogs, there are articles people have written over time. Look at those blogs, read about what your resume should have, and try to put your own story together to fit those things. And also when you are drafting those resumes, try not to just use any template or any color. I remember there was a time I wrote my resume and I painted it red. I had black and red. I was using red as the design and I had black as the main test color. I sent it to my mentor and she was like, Precious, what is this? No, I don't want to say this. You need to know professional resumes, what they look like, and write something that is professional. Write professional resumes. When you look online, you should be able to see articles about or what a professional resume should look like. And also quantify your achievements. That was what I wanted to say at the beginning. Quantify your achievements. Don't just write, I worked here, I worked at this company, I did this for them, I did this for them. What did you do? How did you add value to this company or to this project or to this volunteering experience? What value did you bring to them? And quantify it by saying, I did this by so percentage. I had a 30% this. I achieved 30% that. I achieved this. I achieved that. Add value, add quantity. And based on this, they won't have to like read so much before seeing your values. I think that's pretty much it. And I will also say if you can use Grammarly subscription, like Grammarly Premium, please use Grammarly Premium. Make sure your English is good. I attended a conference recently where we had a career fair session, and this recruiter from Nokia, she was speaking, and she said the first turn off when she is looking at a resume is bad grammar, bad comprehension. If you can do Grammarly subscription, I know they have student package. Get Grammarly subscription. Your writings, pass them to Grammarly. Make sure your grammars are correct, so you are not giving somebody's daughter or somebody's son unnecessary headache. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I hope it makes sense.
Awesome. Precious, you have like a question in the chat. I can't pin it for you, so it would be great if you just check. Somebody is asking about your skill learning process, what it was like.
I'm going to read the question out. How was your skill learning process like? Did you rely on online material only? Did you have someone mentoring you and guiding you through? What were your difficulties and how did you get past them? Okay, this makes sense. I would say at the beginning stage of learning how to code, it was pretty much self-learning. And the number one thing I'm going to highlight is that most of the resources I used, they were free because I was very broke when I started learning how to code, and I could not afford any of this or pay all these paid services. So I used free resources, YouTube videos, Coursera, Udemy, Udacity, what else? Pluralsight, Edu, or Khan Academy. I used these resources. They were free. And sometimes you see all these people, like all these big people that are now making money in tech on Twitter or LinkedIn, they will tell you they have bonuses, like discounts for paid resources. So when you get these bonuses, these scholarships, you can also get to take those advanced courses without having to pay so much. Yeah, so that was the first part. However, when I started going deeper in the tech space, I said I joined She Code Africa. So She Code Africa gave me my first mentor, and I'm still like in a very good relationship with my mentor right now. So I had my first mentor with She Code Africa, and I also said something that my brother is a developer himself. He's doing his PhD at Carnegie Mellon University in the United States right now. So he was also like a mentor to me, like always answering my questions all the time. So I had these two people. So I wouldn't say I did not have a mentor. I had mentors. And I feel like, and there's another part of the question that says somebody guiding you through. Yes, I had people guiding me through. And this is where I'm going to emphasize the aspect of being in a community. I was able to join many communities. She Code Africa is number one. Data Science Nigeria, many communities. And in this community, you don't just try to stay mellow. You don't just stay on the low. You try and do something. You try and volunteer in your little way. And when you do all of these basic stuff, people see your tenacity, they see the grit in you, and they also volunteer to help you in the process. Like when you are contributing to a particular community and you happen to have a question one day, they won't say they did not know you because you've been contributing to their problem and you are solving their problem. So I would say this mentorship thing is, some people think they can just start tech one day and get one big person to start mentoring them. It does not work that way. It's by value. You must give value to this person and they give you value back. If you are not giving something to people in return, they will get tired of you, especially me. I'll run away. So it's like you must be giving something to them and you get something back. You don't necessarily need to have like a mentor right off the bat, but as you go deeper, you can keep using all these online resources, trying to get yourself grounded in the tech space. But as you go deeper, I'm going to assure you that you will definitely get people to guide you in the process. I feel like I've answered the every part of the question. And the difficulties, okay, the difficulties. Oh, I would say learning how to code is not fun. I'm going to be very blunt. It's not fun at all. It's very challenging. It's very crazy. You don't have money, especially when you are learning in a Nigerian home. You are writing code and your mom is expecting you to be in the kitchen. They want you to go and grind pepper. A lot of things are just happening that is like taking your attention away from what you are doing. So I would say you just need to be hardworking. I would say, like, I think I had a session recently with some people and they were asking me what tip I'm going to give anybody in the tech space. Please be hardworking, and you must have passion for what you are doing at the same time, because if you don't have passion for what you're doing, when you have little problems, you just try and uh like spear me kind of thing. I cannot come and kill myself. But if you have passion, that drive will keep you going even when things are not going the way you want them to go. You must have passion for what you're doing and you must be hardworking. Please don't be lazy. I do not like lazy people with lazy mentality, people that are mediocres. You must be able to stand your ground, stand for yourself and be like, this is something I want to learn and I'm going to get it done. And that's it. Even no matter how difficult things are, and one thing you need to also know is that difficult times won't last. They are just for a phase. Most time they are just there to distract you from the main goal. But you should know that they are not going to last forever. So just keep going. Just keep going. And if you need to take a break, please take a break. Burnout is very real. Take a break when you feel like, oh God, I can't take this anymore. But take a break, but don't stop. So far you can take a break and you wake up the next day and pick it up and pick it up. You'll be fine, trust me. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Precious. I just want to add something to that. There is a space for you in tech you can get opportunities both locally and internationally. Nothing should stop you, and you really have to be hardworking, intentional. I think Precious has said that. She also explained like the lot of effort she puts into her applications, and don't be scared to like take that first step. Ask someone to review your applications for you. Margaret, I mentioned earlier that I'm facilitating another chat, so I'm just going to ask the last question. If Mary Blessing internet is not cooperating, so let me just ask the last question I have here. Margaret, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can. So what tips would you give to someone who is thinking twice about applying for international opportunities? Maybe they are feeling, oh, will they accept me? Am I good enough? I don't think I can do this. I don't have the skills they would need. What will you tell those kind of people?
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to share is you only have today to begin to chart the path for your future. So I'm going to say you should start small, which is what is your ultimate goal? If your goal is you want to get into tech, then you need to drill it down a bit. Like you need to narrow it to the smallest bit. If it's I want to be a machine learning expert by say 2026, we're going to use that as our goal. And then the next thing you now have to ask yourself is, what are the necessary skills that I need to learn to be a machine learning expert for 2026? What courses do I need to take? Then you carry out an honest personal evaluation. What skills do I currently have that would enable me become the person I would like to be in the next 2 years? Then for the skills that you lack, it's not a shame. No one knows everything. That's where I said learnability becomes a necessary skill for you to have. You take courses, and I would totally recommend you join a community because the journey or the process can be very long, hard, and lonely. However, when you are doing it with others, it's more interesting. You would avoid making so many mistakes because you're going to be standing on the backs of those who have gone before. And then the next thing I'm going to recommend for someone who is experiencing these fears, you genuinely need to leave your comfort zone. Your comfort zone can be your current state of residence, it can be your home, it can be your bed, it can even be your friends. And one way to leave your comfort zone is attending niche-based events. It could be virtual, it could be physical. So if, like the example I gave is machine learning. Now, you've joined a machine learning community. They have a get-together or a training or a meeting, and you believe that you are an introvert. That is the time for you to challenge yourself to do more. Because during this conversation, I was talking about networking. And people will never know about you if you do not talk about yourself. And then the other tip I'm going to give is try and read many self-help books as possible. You can read about how to be an effective leader. You can even read about how the psychology of money. Why? Because most time, many of us don't understand what money can do for us. And you somehow feel that you've gotten so comfortable with the amount of money you're making. However, if you intend to say retire by say 35 or 40, you would realize that you have a lot of work to do. And when you chart the path for your desired future, people will think you are crazy, but they don't just understand that you've set a personal goal for yourself. And then lastly, my tip would be surround yourself with people who believe in your dream, with people who are fighting for the future that you're trying to build for yourself. It's okay to pause some kinds of friendships. I'm not saying you should cut everybody off, please no. But if friendships expire, certain kinds of relationships expire, if you are trying to go for global opportunities. If you genuinely want to get into certain kinds of spaces, with the world we're in, you need to be able to meet certain kinds of people who would connect you to these opportunities. So you can have your friends, but I recommend, a friend is a very big word, but I also recommend you also have industry friends, people who, the example was machine learning. Start connecting little by little. You don't have to force yourself because you are just trying something new. But you need to remember that while you are contemplating, while you are thinking, while you are worrying about the things that do not matter. For example, your age does not matter. The founder of KFC found his life's purpose at 60. He was 60 years old when he found his life's purpose. And today, many of us still eat KFC. Imagine if he had said, oh, I'm 60. Let me just check myself into an old people's home and give up. Like there's a woman that I read who went back to medical school at 40 years, at 40 years. So all these weaknesses or all these challenges that seem to be holding you back, I can categorically tell you that it's all in your head. Your neighbor doesn't care that you are quote unquote old to be in tech. Like I said, you have to be learnable, you have to be teachable, no matter the age you're at, so that whatever information that is about to be passed on to you, you can absorb it and use it in whatever path that you desire. And then lastly, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. The only problem is when you constantly dwell on the failure or the fact that you have fallen. And I also think that when we are trying to pivot into new opportunities, we do not give ourselves enough grace. Okay, say you consider yourself old, even though I don't believe anybody's old. Age is just a number. Yeah. But say you consider yourself old and then you make certain kinds of mistakes. If you dwell on the mistake, know that if you are, say, 35 this year, you'll be 35 next year. So forget about the past and do not worry too much about the future. Work hard to make use of each day that you have and make it your day one, not your one day. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you so much, Margaret. Hi, Motola. Are you on the call? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Motola, for facilitating while I was away. I'm back, y'all. MTN thought they could win. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Margaret, for answer to that. We are almost at time, but I would really like one question to be answered that I have. I have like three more, but let's just touch base on one. I'll probably take one from the audience if anybody has questions. Right, and that question is to Precious Kolawole. You are currently like far away from your country of origin, and I'm curious to know, like, how did you prepare for that cultural difference, right? While you're working and living in a new country currently.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. You know, when I don't know why I'm laughing, because before I left Nigeria, I actually did not know what I was getting myself into, like what I was about to set my feet into. It started getting done on me when my mom and my sister had to part, oh, when we had to part away at the airport. I felt very teary. I did not want to go again. But yeah, it is what it is. Well, I feel like one thing that really helped me is my mindset, my mentality. I tell myself, Precious, this is where you belong. You belong here, so act like it. You belong in this new place, act like it. Oh, and one thing that also helped me is that I have had to deal with my imposter syndrome, and I've set structures to to prevent myself from having imposter syndrome before I even left Nigeria. I had my ways of dealing with it, and my brain is just very, like, I'm so strong-headed. So when I came to this part of the world, number one, you have to know Canada is like one of the coldest countries in the world. Number two, things are like crazily expensive in this country. What else? The language barrier, it's a very diverse country. We have Indians, we have Chinese people, the Haitians, we have people from the United States. Literally everyone living in Canada, most of them are immigrants. That's just what it is, right? But one thing that actually helped me, like I prepared myself. Okay, I remember going to Yaba. If you know Yaba Lagos, I remember going to Yaba before I left Nigeria to get winter jackets and food. Honestly, they were not doing anything for me. It did not work because the cold here is like 2 times more. But the fact that I came with like with my company, they had to like set a lot of things in place, like getting me winter jackets, getting me winter boots, and making sure I settle in. And also when it comes to the food, I know like the Canadian food is just like eating biscuit and meat pie and pasta. God, I was so tired of those food. But one thing that also helped me is like realize, like joining communities of people in this part of the country. We have many, like a large population of Nigerians. And one thing I tell people, if your way of survive, I grew up in the church and I say it everywhere. I grew up in the church. So one of the things I looked out for when I came here was like finding a community that represents my identity. And I just went online, okay, church near me, like Nigerian kind of church near me. And I was able to get one. And since that time, I've been very consistent, and they have activities, they have events just to make me feel like I'm still getting the Nigeria energy. Because I trust me, no matter how strong you are and you see yourself just blending in easily, a lot of things are going to shock you. But being among those people that have been here way longer than you are, and them just sharing a little bit of tips and you just fellowshipping with them actually did the trick for me. And I would also say when I came here, I was able to like meet a mom. Like she's like a mom to me right now. She has been in Canada for like 12 or 15 years. And she was like, oh, you are in dev degree. And since that time, she has been like a mom. She would make Nigerian jollof. She would make like Nigerian hamala, send them to me. And I was just eating and enjoying myself. So I would say like finding like-minded people, trying to find those that represent your identity and moving along with them really helped me. And when I moved to the career aspect, I would say, because in my program right now, I am kind of like the only Black person. But we are like two Blacks, but the other Black is like from the United States. And I'm like the only person they had to drive all the way from Nigeria to Canada. You get? So it's like trying to understand the way these people think, the way these people behave. One major challenge I had was like when I'm relating with a fellow Nigerian and this Nigerian person is mad, I can easily tell like this person is mad at me. Like this person is angry. I can detect people's emotions based on the way they talk when I'm speaking with a fellow Nigerian. But when I'm speaking with these people, like I've never related with them before. So it was very strange getting to know the way they think, the way they understand things, their expectation, and trying to meet those expectations. It was a little bit difficult, but I feel like the fact that I was very attentive and I was ready to learn, I was able to like pick up those tiny differences really helped me. For example, in this part of the world, people like cats and dogs a lot. Like, hey, my pet, my me, I'm not a pet person. I'm being very frank. I'm not a pet person. If I see cat, I will run. If I see dog, I will take the other road. It's just the way it is. But now I see myself just uh integrating or like trying to embrace the new system and adjusting properly. Trust me, I now like dogs very much. I like cats. Though cats, I'm still like cats. But yeah, I'm getting to like dogs more. So I would say it's a lot of you being open-minded for you to break all these cultural barriers and like be able to fit in properly. You must be very, very open-minded. You must be able to explore new things. You must be able to like dive into new culture and see the way those people do their things, right? And I think that's pretty much it. In the workspace also, they know these people are also very much understanding. They know where you are coming from, but don't think because they understand your situation and then you are now trying to like sit back and rest. Please don't do that. But they are also ready to accommodate you. One thing I benefited so much from this dev degree program is that the support system is very, very strong. I write bi-weekly reflections every 15 days, just to reflect on my journey in the past 2 weeks and how I'm coping, how I am finding a new system. And we have student success specialists I can easily speak to. We have coaching sessions. I believe any company you are trying to join, they will have all of these support systems in place, because the tech space right now is now embracing so much diversity. So when you see a little bit of support, be able to like tap into those things and benefit from them. And I will also say you would have to like change your mentality, the way you see things also. When I was in Nigeria, when they tell me anything about therapy or like uh going to meet a doctor, just to, like anything therapy, I freak out back in Nigeria. But people here, they see therapy as they can take therapy as they are working. Like it's something they do. They don't see it as anything, right? So it makes sense to like be able to like cultivate new habits, change your orientation, the way you see things, and gradually you are going to blend in. And I'm going to say, don't rush yourself too much, and don't beat yourself if you feel like you are not blending in properly. It takes time. It's not something you cannot easily blend in 1 week or 2 weeks. No, it takes time, like 3 months, 6 months. Be patient with yourself. That's just what I'm trying to say. Yep, that's it from me.
Yeah, super amazing. And I think I also picked what Margaret has also been saying about being learnable, right? Be able to like want to like learn and adapt into new system. That was super profound. And I also like Precious Johnson to also touch shed light on that, on how our own experience, regarding fitting into culture, since she herself also is not like she's also far from her country of origin. Hi, Precious. Uh, Precious still on the call? All right. If she's not on the call, then we're just going to move on. We are like 5 minutes top of the hour, and I just want to say a huge, huge thank you to all our speakers, Precious, there's two Preciouses, and
Hello.
Margaret for coming on. Oh, Precious, are you here?
Yeah, sorry, I was speaking while being muted. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay, sure. Please just share your thoughts and take it from there. Thank you.
Okay, so we're already out of time, so I'm going to be very brief about that. So maybe for people who are looking forward to applying for roles, I think one thing you should do is to research on the country or you're applying to, like, then if you have questions, you ask the recruiter. And another thing you could do is reaching out to the people who have worked around there. Try like networking with them. You can easily find them on LinkedIn. So networking with the people who live around there, and also attending events in within your area. So when I came to Kigali, there is this it's like an incubator program, and they have like hubs in different parts of the world. It's called Northern. So I joined their community. So they have like every last Friday of the month they have an event for founders. So I go there to network with founders and also meet people within the community. For me, for here in Kigali, they have Kinyarwanda and French. So that's like their most common means of communication, speaking in French or their local language, Kinyarwanda. So it's been difficult for me. I've been here for like 2 years, so it's been really difficult communicating in their language. But at work, I had to like learn simple words to use with people I communicate with daily outside, and also learning French using Duolingo app. So being able to like learn as well, like anything, not just within your skill, like learning anything. So I'm also learning French as well. And also there might be some culture shock, but the key is being adaptable, like learning how to like adapt to their culture and the way they do things in the place you're in. Thank you.
All right, that was awesome. There was one question I wanted you to answer, Precious, right? And I don't know if you already touched on it when I was away, and it has to do with regards, resources and strategies you use to discover suitable international positions and opportunities. I don't know if you kind of like touched on that or anybody touched on it, but I don't mind you just briefly talking about that.
Okay. For people who are looking like to study outside, I think researching on the school you want to go to, and also there are some platforms students use like the Common App, and also Mastercard. There are some foundations that sponsor students in like different institutions. So Mastercard Foundation, they have like a website where they list out the schools they are sponsoring. So you could check that out and apply to the schools that interest you. And for companies, there's this company called Libra Group. So they sponsor like university students to like from anywhere to go for their internship program, either in the UK or in the US. So you could also check out their website. I think their next application will be next year. Yeah, next year. So they've closed their applications for summer this year. So you could check out Libra Group for yourself or a friend. So and also the Shopify Dev degree and the Outreachy internship, and focusing on the EMEA opportunities some company offer. Some companies like sponsor people who are within the EMEA region. So you could check out if companies on LinkedIn, you could check out if companies are hiring within that region, and also apply for their opportunities. And for websites I use Open Doors. It's a website, but just for designers. I left coding, so so Open Doors. It's a website just for designers. You could check that out as well. And also this website called OTA. OTTA. So you could check them out as well. And using Google Jobs as well can help you find like Googling jobs like can help you find opportunities within a specific region. So another thing I would recommend is tracking your application. So there are some websites you could or applications you could use to track your application. For me, I use Google Sheets. So that will help you like get data on what is working for you and what's not working for you. So maybe you've tried applying to these companies, but they're not like getting back to you. So what can you do better? Do you want to like reach out to recruiters directly, and also like for your resume, make sure that the keywords on your resume match the keywords on the job description, because some of these recruiters they use application and tracking systems or like AI to just review your resume. It might not be reviewed by a human first. So make sure the keywords on your resume matches the job description before you submit your application, just to help you get to the next stage where you can interact with a human. So I think, yeah, that's just it from my end. Thank you.
That's super impressive. Thank you so, so much. So I will not be able to take questions now because at the top of the hour, but if you do have questions, in the feedback form, there's a field where you can just, fill in any additional thoughts. I'm going to go through it specifically for the purpose of this. And if anyone has questions they filled in there, I can pass that across to any of the speakers. I strongly believe, would have thoughts on that, right? Based on their backgrounds, right? So yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Thank you so much, our amazing speaker. This was really insightful and helpful. Myself did not fully participate because of network issues, but I'm definitely going to be going back to the recording myself, and I'll be sharing with everyone who registered for the event as well. Thank you so, so much, Precious Kolawole. Thank you, Precious Johnson. And thank you, Margaret Ibuchulam. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your presence here. And with that being said, please, this is an event by She Code Africa, and we are a non-governmental organization, committed to women across Africa, their growth, and we do this through providing resources and tools you can use to propel your career. We have different programs going on within the community, and for whenever the kickstart, we do let community members know via our communication channels. Right. We also have the channel program up and running. So if you are in any particular field in tech, please go join a channel within the community, and there is a channel lead there to like welcome you into that space, and you can connect together and bounce ideas of each other, right? There's also the chapter program. if you are looking to connect with SEA Queens within your region and state and country, there's a chapter program, and I put that the link to find a chapter near you in the chat. Please go find a chapter near you. I have seen someone ask around if there's a chapter for Cameroonians. Yes, there is one. So you can go join a chapter there that's close to you. So yeah, that will be all from me. And thank you so much, Ekeno Motala, our amazing community lead, for taking on, facilitating the session while I was away. And thanks to everybody once again. Do have a wonderful rest of your evening. Yes, there's a chapter for Ghana. Just check the link and you're definitely going to be seeing chapters available. And if you don't find a chapter close to you, that's totally fine. We're onboarding new leads, new chapter leads very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Yes, thank you so much. We're happy you had a great time. All right.